Super motherfucking future.
DJ Eskimo City, the coolest DJ on the motherfucking planet.
Yeah. I done bought a whip with a wild through, hold up. And I had snatched 2 rollers. Hold up. I gotta check on me right now. Bitch, I'm high, no rollers. Hold up. I gotta check on me right now. Bitch, I'm high, no focus.
What's up, everybody? It's the Triple Play Sports FBG Gavone Show, July 7th, 2016. We're brought to you by Vitoni Electric. Ever have a pool heater not work, a light go out in your house, a breaker busted in the basement? Fear not. Just call Vitoni Electric. They're the best electric company in Eastern Massachusetts.
One of a billion.
Yeah, big sponsor of ours too, by the way. So we had to throw that in there. We got a lot to talk about today, from Bill Simmons to the UFC, Jon Jones doping allegations, to Denard Robinson falling asleep in a sinking car.
Snoozing in a car in a pond.
Yeah, so let's get right into it. We will start with Bill Simmons. That's where the thing goes, like the bar.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Boom,
It's nice.
edit.
It's nice. I'm going to edit that. I am. So, Bill Simmons, somebody dug this up on the internet. I believe it surfaced yesterday. It was of him on a podcast saying back in February that it would be absolutely ludicrous and preposterous for Kevin Durant to go to the Warriors. And to quote him directly, I will read the quote out. I thought that was one of the most ludicrous stories I've ever read. The Warriors aren't thinking about next year. They're not thinking about Durant. It's absurd. I just don't believe it. That is the most idiotic logic I've ever heard. I don't believe anything about this story. I think it's being fed by other teams. I don't blame them for writing those stories. It got them some traffic, some attention. I've never heard anybody make the point that this was fundamentally idiotic. So, obviously,
Hot take.
hot take that wound up being completely wrong. Now, Simmons has a show any given Wednesday, which premiered on HBO, I think, 2 or 3 weeks back. It's on its 3rd episode now, so I guess 3 weeks. I watched it, wasn't really too crazy about it. I'm really not a big Bill Simmons guy. I don't know about you, but, I mean, what did you think of this? Like, how can you come out and say something like this?
Pretty ridiculous, to say the least. Like, to say your team, like, oh, listen, I don't care how good your team is. If you're thinking about the future of your team and your organization, you want to go out and get big names. Like, in what world is getting KD stupid?
I don't understand.
In what world is getting, like, a top 5 player in the NBA ludicrous? Like, he can't even fathom the idea of a team being like, we're trying to sign Kevin Durant. Like, I don't care how much firepower you have in that roster, and we obviously know that Golden State is one of the most stacked rosters to date. Like, you're still going out and you're still trying to improve your team. Like, him to call out the GM too of the Warriors and be like, I don't know what this guy's thinking. Like, he should be coming out and putting all these.
Well, he
these
said the
rumors
owner
to
should
rest.
come out.
Or the owners, the owner, like, come out and be like, yo, put these rumors to rest and this and that. Like, what do you mean? He's the owner. He's doing his job. He's bringing in Kevin Durant to Golden State. Like,
preposterous.
What? He's doing everything that the team needs him to do. That's an unbelievable move on his part.
Yeah.
He just brought together probably like one of the most stacked rosters in NBA history right now.
Yep.
You're looking at a team with Draymond Green, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Andre Iguodala. Like, that's an insane starting 5.
And then he goes, why would you mess with the team and renounce Harrison Barnes, Festus Ezeli, and Sean Livingston?
God forbid we let go of Festus Ezeli.
You would literally dish all 3 of those to just get one replacement that is Kevin Durant, because that would literally be worth it. I don't understand, and I know hindsight's 20/20, so I guess you could come after us and be like, oh, well, I was a huge deer. Wow, that's crazy. But, yeah, it's really hard to say that, I mean, I just can't foresee anybody else coming out and saying that was a good idea. Like, how can you say that Kevin Durant wouldn't help your team or would mess things up?
Yeah.
I don't understand. And I haven't watched episode 3 of his show, but he talks about the KD thing, and I'm dying to watch it. I'm gonna hate watch it.
I'll watch it right after this.
And I just don't know what kind of logic. And he says fundamentally idiotic. Dude, you're being fundamentally idiotic. Are you kidding me?
I don't even know. I can't imagine why you wouldn't want to go after someone like Kevin Durant. He doesn't seem like a player that comes in with an ego or with an attitude that's not going to be able to fit in a roster. And honestly, guys like Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, they seem like they have the least of the attitudes too. So it's like you're just putting all these nonchalant all-stars together. What could, I don't see what could be going wrong. Worst comes to worst, dude. You throw Curry out with his unit, you throw KD out with his unit, and teams are just baffled on what to do because they're like, we can't throw subs out against anyone because if we're going to throw subs out, they're going to go against Curry and they're never going to be able to block a shot. And if we're going to throw subs out against the other side with Durant, you can't defend it. So what? I can't honestly. I can't.
I'm really anxious to see what he said on that show, and
this is a recent show, right? So
it's called Any Given Wednesday. So episode 3 came out yesterday, so he's gonna be talking about it.
He's gonna be talking.
I'm pretty sure he had Chris Bosh on there actually, but I think that's before the D Wade news broke last night that D Wade went to the Bulls. So we'll see what he says on there. Honestly, I don't know what to expect.
Do we know what? Or he just signed with the Bulls straight up?
Yes.
He's a free agent.
Yeah. I think they gave him 2 years and around 50. So, and I think he's from Chicago, so he's going home, I guess. But that's.
He is from Chicago.
If you're a Heat fan, and I heard this theory. I don't know if you saw it on Twitter, where it says that the D-Wade going to the Bulls might cause Hassan Whiteside to back out of his contract. And if he backs out of his contract,
wasn't he looking at Chicago?
No. He was looking at the Mavs. The Mavs offered him a max deal. So now that D-Wade is out, and Hassan Whiteside tweeted last night, he said mood, and it was Mr. Krabs in a faded circular vision, and he was like, it was so funny. And so now, if he takes that max deal with the Mavs, then the Mavs can't get Barnes and Bogut from the Warriors, which could somehow mess up the Kevin Durant max deal that the Warriors offered him. So, I don't know, and it's merely a theory. If Hassan Whiteside doesn't budge, then, it's irrelevant, but it's just something to think about. I thought it was pretty interesting. It surfaced on Twitter last night, and I gave it some thought, but I don't really know what to think about it. But I guess we'll see what happens in the next few days. Not really sure, though.
Yeah, I feel like, once you make, Golden State, that's official now, I think the Mavs, they're just kind of caught in a rock and a hard spot, they want.
Well, so is Hassan Whiteside.
Yeah, they want Whiteside, but they might not have the cash to get him, and at that point, it's
they've already offered him the max deal, but
really?
But Hassan Whiteside was already committed to the Heat.
Yeah, he went with the Heat.
So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, should be interesting. It's been a wild free agency, so I'm kind of just open for whatever at this point.
No doubt, and it's every hour you got to be on it because something else is going to break.
Seriously, I'm checking my phone. OG out there right now, trying to figure out what's going on.
So
getting all the deals. Waking up this morning, seeing the Devils deals. Pumped.
Yeah, Devils are making big moves.
Blog coming soon.
You'll have a blog by that soon. Next topic, UFC 200. John Jones, who was supposed to fight DC Cormier. Doping allegations done. Off, removed, completely scratched from the card, UFC 200. Now the UFC is really in shambles. Dana White really didn't do enough to keep Conor McGregor around,
Seriously.
which is pretty much the pinnacle of attraction for the UFC and UFC fans. Once he was off the card, that was already enough of a blow. So yeah, that was already enough of a blow for the UFC. You had a little technical difficulty there, but we're back. So now all you have left on the card. Now all you have left on the card is Brock Lesnar and the Super Samoan, which in terms of ratings and revenue I can't foresee generating very much for poor Dana White. And Dana White is really the one to blame here. You know, and I referenced this in my blog earlier. He's worth $500 million. Conor McGregor is worth $14 million.
The face of the UFC is worth $14 million.
Yeah. So it's
in comparison to $500 million.
It's really, really unbelievable that
and they're getting their shit pummeled.
Right.
And as a job.
You have to remember, like, a year ago, not even a year ago, probably a few months back, the UFC was contemplating selling the organization for $4 billion. Now, what are you looking at? You're looking at fighters that are, you know, doping. Now all of a sudden you have a drug problem, and then you can accompany that with McGregor not being around, and that's enough to, you know, completely lose your organization's worth, almost all of it, honestly. But I guess Dana White really doesn't care. He's going to run out Brock Lesnar out there as the main card. That's now the main card of UFC 200. And keep in mind, this was a card that was supposed to feature Cormier versus Jones, and then Diaz McGregor rematch after Diaz had beaten McGregor. So really, like, I don't know what else to say about the UFC, man. It's a tough situation, but one that I really don't feel bad for them at all, and I don't feel bad for Dana White at all. I pity Dana White. So
yeah, if you're not going to give, if you're not going to give your fighters the compensation they deserve for a fight, I really can't feel bad for you, especially when you're sitting on $500 million like Dana White is. And yeah, when you're just like, you know, it's disrespecting the guys who are out there, you know, doing the dirty work for you. To say that literally the face of the UFC, the most popular fighter, the one that everyone knows if you bring up UFC, is crazy fucking Conor McGregor. To say that this man is making $14 million in comparison to your $500 million as the owner is pretty preposterous to me. And I'm not saying he needs to be making, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars out there, but he needs to be making more than $14 million. I mean,
for sure,
you're giving him a backup contract in any other sport, and this guy is legitimately putting his life on the line every time he steps in the ring.
And he's on the face of the video games. You know, he's everywhere. He's
the one bringing in.
And he just did the body issue at ESPN. You know, he's just such a marketable figure.
Seriously,
that the UFC was just completely silly to watch him walk away.
A guy like Conor McGregor, you can't lose because he's so outspoken and he's so pro the sport, and he really comes off as, you know, a pretty good guy. He seems like he's a fun dude.
And he's straight up. He's straight up, too.
Very straight up. He's very honest. Is he cocky? Sure, every fighter's cocky. You're never going to go into a fight and say you're going to lose and this and that, you know? And it's all part of it. It's all part of his showmanship. I think he's a really cool guy, and the fact that they're not willing to just even give him, you know, that the fact that Dana White is just like, hey, Conor McGregor, go ahead and walk. It's just a big time hard-out move on his part, and he's, you know, and he kind of needs to swallow his pride a little bit, because to say that Brock Lesnar and the Super Samoan are about to headline your pay-per-view fight is a little ridiculous. Because think about it, if Brock Lesnar doesn't come back, who's fighting in this? You know what I mean? Yeah. Who is he getting? Because if this is like, this just happened to fall into his lap, I feel like, with Lesnar. Like, he's
going to get Johnny Duma, dude.
He's going to get John Duma, baby. Wyckoff, New Jersey.
Moving forward, Russ-Wilson and Ciara tied the knot, I think, yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And I think Future, you know, he's been dropping shade in his you know, rap verses about
Big
it and
time.
stuff. And it's just so
Juice.
funny because, you know, it's just like like, you take a guy like Russ Wilson, for example, and, like, he's just so soft compared to a guy like Future.
Yeah.
So it's
what
just like,
happened in that relationship that you go from Future to Russell Wilson?
yeah, I don't know.
Don't get me wrong. Russell, he's a good-looking dude. He's, you know, top quarterback in the league right now. He's making buku bucks. But, like, the attitude from a Future to a Russell Wilson is banana land.
And then we can
Something
obviously talk about the sex. They can finally have sex
That's
now.
got to be the number one topic.
How
right?
long has it been? Like a year and a half that they were just celibate, right?
Yeah. And how quick was the first time?
Over.
Over under 3 seconds. We're gonna be putting a poll. We'll put a poll up. We'll see what the viewers think.
You know, maybe like 7 or 8.
You can't date that girl for 2 years and show
can't
and show up on wedding night in prime time ready to go. Like you're about to shoot it to the fucking moon. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my god!
And I gotta cut it there because this has got to stay somewhat watchable of a video. But just
no, it's fine. Moving forward, Messi prison. Sentenced to 21 months in prison for tax evasion. And the rule is in Spain is if it's your first offense, I guess in anything, and you're sentenced to under 2 years, so under 24 months or less, you are not obliged to go to jail, which I think is a little bananas. You know, you could have people just committing crimes that they know they're not going to get 2 years for and be like, "Oh, this is my freebie." Like that's right. Am I right about that?
This isn't like the
I know
first time I've
Messi's
heard about it either, right?
huge figure, and he's obviously not going to go to jail probably anyway because he's Messi. But I mean, pay your taxes, man. Like pay your fucking taxes, dude.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Are you serious?
It has to do with his dad, right?
Yeah, apparently his dad messed something up, but like even that guy, like figure it out, man.
Like, bro,
like
you're
Messi's got enough on his plate. Like if you're his dad, like just figure out his taxes. Like you birthed the GOAT. Like just figure out his taxes, dude. Like he's going out there trying to win the Copa America World Cup every year and failing. But I mean, nonetheless, he's still the best player in the world. Maybe debatably behind Ronaldo after Ronaldo's masterful performance yesterday against Wales. And if he wins the European Championship and the Champions League, you know, he's probably going to win the Ballon d'Or. So I mean,
there'll be some heavy debate about it for sure.
And then Messi saying he's going to quit and everything. It's just, you know, Messi, like, you got to figure it out at some point, man. You know, and you can start with paying your taxes and not getting a 21-month jail sentence in fucking Spain. You know?
How does it even happen?
I don't know.
How do you make as much money as Messi and then just forget?
His net worth's got to be north of 200, right?
I mean, soccer is what, the most popular sport in the world now?
He's getting paid bills.
So you know he's
Barcelona.
getting heavy bills from Barcelona. He's getting stuff
incentives from Argentina.
He's getting
if he
any
doesn't
type of
quit.
endorsement for any type of soccer. He's probably endorsed on
Adidas, Team Messi. Adidas literally has Team
I'm
Messi.
pretty sure. Is he Pepsi?
He's everywhere. His endorsements out the wazoo. So
yeah, you can't be the best player in the world in the most popular sport in the world.
Bottom line is pay your taxes, man. I don't care who's taking care of them. You're a grown ass man. Figure it out, right?
Shouldn't be in the news.
I think he lost. like 2.1 mil. Or
yeah,
something.
he owed like 4 mil, and he only had to pay 2 mil. A little over 2.
Which is a lot of money.
What is good in Spain? And why aren't we there?
That's chump change.
Because that seems like a pretty leisurely laws over there.
Yeah.
Very laissez-faire government.
I would say, to say the absolute least. So, moving forward again, we have news of Denard Robinson, the ex-Michigan standout, now Jaguars running back. He's entering his 4th year with the Jags.
Good
Hasn't
athlete.
put up great numbers. You can look at the blog. I have the numbers there.
Definitely not, but you know,
and the full,
he's on the Jags.
The full news report is also in the blog. But basically, what happens, right? He was in Chevy Impala, right?
Yeah.
Which is
Shout out to Chevy.
Pretty broke ass.
Sponsored.
For him, I guess. To say the least.
Yeah, why is he Denard Robinson rolling around?
Well, he was with some girl who's like 4 or 5 years older than him. Not sure if it's his girlfriend or whatnot, but they were near like a pond. And the front of the car, he was in the driver's seat, right?
Fell asleep at the wheel.
And he's asleep, and the pond is right there, and the front of the car is submerging into the pond.
But it's staying. But it's cool, you know.
But it's like staying, but like it's like slowly. Like I'm sure if he sat there long enough, like he would have been underwater.
And a cop finds him.
So the cop finds both of them asleep. The girl wakes up. Denard wakes up. Denard goes back to sleep. They're both refusing. Before that, before they both before Denard fell asleep, they were both refusing to get out of the car for whatever reason.
What I read from your article, he opened his eyes, closed them, and fell right back asleep. And then the chick was refusing to leave the car, and a police officer had to reach in the window and to unlock the door. Neither of them wanted to leave the car. And then
apparently there was a verbal exchange going on with the girl and the police officers, and Denard was asleep the entire time.
Yes, the entire time the officer was trying to get the girl to get out of the car, and she was resisting. Denard was asleep, and then they said there was no DUI.
Right, they said no drugs were involved, which is the most ridiculous part, surprising part. I don't know if there actually was or wasn't, but apparently in the police report they said maybe they were just really, really high and fell asleep.
Oh, you know what was funny about it said the first words that the girl said, to the officer when they kept trying to knock on the window and get their attention, she was like pissed waking up, and she was like, "What's up?"
Yeah. She was
up?
She was like angry.
Yeah, she was like, "What's up?" Like
what's up? Yeah,
like why are you bothering us trying to sleep in this car in this pond? It's so Florida. It hurts. They're like. The cop is repeatedly saying, "You're in a sinking car in a pond." And she's like,
get out of here.
I need my, real sister earrings are coming off, about to throw hands with that cop, she needs her beauty sleep. Meanwhile, Denard is still KO'd the entire time. No recollection of what's going on.
It's amazing to me how dumb these athletes are, honestly. It's
that's one of the most wild. Yeah, that's one of the more wild stories I've heard.
Yeah, I mean, not that Denard Robinson is by any standards a good NFL player. He's just not. But, I mean, come on, man. Figure it out. He was a good player at UMich. He would always have his shoes untied, too.
Really?
So that wasn't the first
Who was
wacky
he going
thing
back
he's
and
done.
forth with all the time when he was a QB? I feel like there was another top
he was
Russian QB that was in college football. Was it Manziel?
He was, I think, a year or two before Manziel. I think there was one year where they were both playing NCAA in the NCAA at the same time.
Probably Heisman looks.
He was definitely getting Heisman looks for sure.
He was having crazy rushing games.
Absolutely. I don't really foresee Denard being very useful for the Jaguars. I mean, they have Allen Robinson and Allen Hurns.
They have TJ Yeldon from Alabama.
If I'm in the Jaguars front office, GM, coach, I'm probably giving Denard the boot after this one.
This is baffling.
Yeah, pretty baffling.
I'm not. Yeah, you got to sit him down and say what's good.
Yeah, for sure.
What's good with that whole snoozing in a pond?
What's good with the snoozing in the pond?
Yeah. Why were you very nonchalant about sinking?
So, I guess that pretty much does it.
That's it.
Is there anything else to throw in quick? No?
Not really. Devils signed Palmieri, 5-year deal, big-time signing. They keep going up and up and up. Good signing.
Devils are back, baby.
Devils are back.
Very, very hot day here in the dirty Jersey.
So hot. So hot. And it is dirty, humid Jersey right now.
Yeah. You can only imagine.
It's about 12 o'clock. The sun's not even out. I'm drenched. The camera, hopefully it's not picking it up.
Deer is going across the backyard. Deers are hunting for shade.
Deer are collapsing out here. There's about 15 dead deer on the lawn. We're not going to turn
They're all over the place. It's just all over the lawn.
It's heat exhaustion. It's like they're going through quicksand.
I'm going to call animal control. Get them out of here.